toxic masculinity.
FISA court.
Okay, FISA court.
FISA court says the FBI repeatedly violated rules.
Yeah, this is interesting. So I didn't actually have a chance to read this news article before we did the show. So this is actually going to be news. The cat's playing with a little bottle cap that I threw at Valeria. I didn't actually get a chance to read this before, so this is going to be fascinating to me as well. FISA court says FBI repeatedly violated rules meant to protect privacy. Let's have a look here. The FBI again repeatedly violated rules meant to protect privacy of Americans' privacy, according to the secretive federal court that made public its latest ruling slamming the Bureau's continued misconduct. And so the reason why this is critical, or the reason I wanted to read this story, is because I am very concerned that the FBI has become basically a weapon of Democrats. So they went after Trump illegally. They have arrested a bunch of these people from January 6th in an attempt to persecute conservatives and scare us into saying, you can't get away with anything, we will destroy you. And at the same time, they're ignoring the crimes of Democrats. They're ignoring the crimes of Hunter Biden, because he's the president's son. They're ignoring the crimes of Joe Biden. Joe Biden has conducted himself in a criminal way over the years, and he's never been looked at by the FBI. Or if he has, they've neglected to arrest him or to try him for his crimes. And in fact, if you watch a video that I produced a little while ago, I shouldn't say I produced it, I just posted it on my show. This is the CEO of Overstock.com. His name's Patrick Byrne. You got to watch this video, guys. This video is crazy. This guy's I think he's a millionaire, like hundreds of millions of dollars he has. I don't think he's quite a billionaire, but he's got hundreds of millions of dollars. He doesn't have any good reason. He's no longer the CEO of Overstock. He has no reason to express this story. Unless he's just trying to be famous or something weird like that. If he's legitimately insane, that's a problem. But I don't think he is. I think that this guy is totally legit, and you can watch the video and judge for yourself. But what this guy says in the video is he says that he was approached by the FBI to wear a wire and connect Hillary Clinton to a foreign ambassador, a foreign government, an official from a foreign government, and to bribe Hillary Clinton with millions of dollars. I think it was $5 million, something like that. He got Hillary on Clinton, taking the bribe. So this is evidence of corruption of Hillary Clinton. So the FBI they got their evidence against Hillary Clinton. And then this guy said, okay, now what are you going to do with her? And they said, we're not going to do anything with her. You're going to forget that this ever happened. What's going to happen is that Hillary Clinton's going to become president. This is before 2016, by the way. Hillary Clinton is going to become president, and we're going to control her. Actually, what they said was Barack Obama is going to control her. But maybe it was Barack Obama, maybe it was the FBI themselves, who knows. But the idea was that Hillary Clinton was going to be president, the FBI was going to control her with this damaging audio that they had. They were able to basically control Hillary Clinton. She was going to be a puppet. And they were going to blackmail her using this stuff. So, is that what the FBI does now? Is that what the FBI does? I mean, do they even prosecute people anymore for crimes? Do they even arrest people? Or do they just investigate people, get dirt on them, and then control them? Is that what the Federal Bureau of Investigation is doing now? Is that their whole purpose? Are they just basically the deep state? Is that all they are now? I don't know, but it's very concerning, and you need to watch that Patrick Byrne video if you haven't. It's very compelling. Very, very concerning. But anyway, so now the FISA court is saying that the FBI is guilty of more stuff. So let's go and read about this. The declassified and partially redacted ruling on Monday by the Foreign Intelligence Surveillance Court, posted by the Subtract the Reactionary and reported on by the Washington Post, showed that between mid 2019 and early 2020, I'm surprised Washington Post even published this, the FBI continually dove through data and that contained Americans' emails and other communications as they searched for information without proper justification. Still, the court's presiding judge, James Boasberg, wrote in the filing that the violations occurred before the FBI improved its querying system. Oh, it happened before they've sorted themselves out now. They're perfectly fine now. and training program that the COVID-19 pandemic has limited the government's ability to monitor compliance. While the court is concerned about the apparent widespread violations, it lacks sufficient information at this time to assess the adequacy of FBI system changes and training, he said. Therefore, he wrote, the court is willing to again conclude that the FBI's procedures meet statutory and Fourth Amendment requirements. Give me a break. They go, okay, so the FBI is clearly violating the civil rights of Americans, but because we can't investigate them thoroughly because of COVID restrictions, we're just going to say that they're totally compliant. They're fine. Everything's fine. Yeah, we don't really have the resources to investigate them, so we'll just say they're fine. Yeah, that sounds totally legit, guys. Let's see here. It's at the least third time. Okay, who wrote this? Who am I going to call out here? I can't find it. I can't find who wrote this. Newsmax staff. Okay, Newsmax staff. You've got a very funny name. I'm going to call you out. This is crappy writing, okay? This is crappy writing. Sort yourselves out. It's at the least third time? What is that? Who doesn't catch that? That's one of the most egregious writing errors I've seen so far on this show. Okay. What they meant to write was, it's at least the third time that the FBI has been rebuked by the court for breaching the rules en masse in the last several years, the Post reported, and it's raising alarms. You know what? I should text Chris Ruddy specifically. Chris Ruddy owns Newsmax, and I happen to have his phone number. I should text him and be like, dude, fire your writer. No, I wouldn't do that. I actually love Newsmax. Newsmax is great, but seriously, that's not cool. All right. We can continue playing compliance whack-a-mole, Julian Sanchez, a senior fellow at the public policy think tank Cato Institute, told the Post, but at this point it's reasonable to ask whether this sort of large-scale collection on a general warrant model is inherently prone to these problems in a way that restricts robust and timely oversight. That's actually not just a great point, but very well stated, Julian Sanchez. He's probably a very intelligent person. All right. At issue is Section 702 of the Foreign Intelligence Surveillance Act, passed in 2008, which sets limits on spying on U.S. soil in national security cases. In the latest disclosure, Boasberg wrote that in 2019 and 2020, the Justice Department's National Security Division reported numerous incidents to the court involving queries on Americans for criminal evidence without the FBI files first obtaining court permission. In one instance, he wrote that an FBI specialist conducting background investigations made 124 queries of raw Section 702 data on volunteers who had requested to participate in the FBI's Citizens Academy, on people who needed to enter the field office to perform repairs, and on people who reported that they were victims of a crime, according to the reactionary. In another example, he wrote the FBI made 40 queries in support of probes into healthcare fraud, international organized crime, violent gangs, and domestic terrorism. None was related to national security, Boasberg wrote, according to the Post. Now, I don't necessarily, even though it's, we do need to keep a close eye on what the FBI is doing and overreach and, violating the limits that are imposed on them. I think that the FBI should be given a little bit of slack when it comes to investigating like human traffickers and drug runners and stuff like that. Now, we of course don't want our civil rights violated, obviously, and that can bleed into problems with like ordinary citizens. But obviously my bigger problem with the FBI is their partisan nature. If you're going strictly after criminals and irrelevant of political party, they should be given a little bit more discretion. But when it comes to going after people for partisan reasons, like the January 6th protesters, that I think we need to keep a much closer eye on. And it's annoying to me that, we're focusing on the problems of the FBI overreach with criminals, and we're not focused on the problem with FBI overreach on good citizens who just happen to be Republicans. Kurt says that you're refusing to read his texts.
Don't care.
All right, let's see here.
I have a suggestion. Can you make an article slightly bigger? Like zoom in? No, not like... Yeah, that's good.
I'm actually going to change the setup.
Perfect.
I've been. Is that for you or for somebody who wrote something on the?
For all of us.
for all of us. But did you come up with that, or was it somebody in the comments?
Somebody who,
Thank you. Okay. Well, I'm actually going to
because
create.
he wouldn't do it for myself.
Darling, can I say something? Thank you. I'm going to create a new, more professional thing, visual.
You didn't even hear what I said.
What'd you say?
I said he wouldn't do it for me.
I would not do it for you?
Yeah.
Yeah, I would. But I just wanted to know, because I wanted to make clear to the public that I am actually going to try to create a more professional sort of structure to the show. I think this is kind of raw. This is what I always say, we're very unprofessional, but I'll sort it out. Okay, let's see here. Controversy over Section 702 intensified after the 2013 revelations of government surveillance first brought to light by former national security agent contractor Edward Snowden. I do think Snowden is kind of a creepy loser. He's a Democrat. He's kind of a creepy loser, but I do think that he should be exonerated from that.
I know him.
You don't?
I know who that is.
Oh, yeah. Do you think he should be exonerated or not?
Well, he escaped, right? To Russia.
Mm-hmm. But I think he's being persecuted for releasing classified information that probably was, definitely stuff that was of public interest that should have been declassified and we should have known about. So I don't know. I think that he did a good thing, despite the fact that he's a sneaky little weasel. Let's see here. Under Section 702, the government obtains emails and other communications from tech companies for foreign intelligence purposes and to aid government investigations into foreign terrorism, espionage, and nuclear proliferation, the Post noted. An unnamed senior FBI official told the Post only 3.6% of the targets collected under Section 702 are currently made available to the FBI. Though Boasberg blasted the FBI, he was lenient to former FBI attorney Kevin Kleinsmith when, in January 29th, he sentenced him to only probation for altering the CIA email and lying about it to the FBI coworkers in order to get a FISA renewal on a former Trump campaign advisor. Yes, this is the guy. I knew I recognized that name, Boasberg. I've been actually producing a video for my other show about this guy and about the whole situation in Washington, D.C., where essentially Democrats control certain judges. And Boasberg, it appears, is one of them. And he gave Kevin Kleinsmith this, but I'm not 100% sure about that. I don't remember exactly. So certain judges are definitely controlled by Democrats, clearly. Others of them are just a little bit weird. It's possible that Boasberg let Kleinsmith off because he recognized that Kleinsmith wasn't, in fact, really guilty of anything. He was really just a scapegoat. And the people who were actually guilty weren't being prosecuted. And so he might have let Kleinsberg off just because he recognized that he was a scapegoat and not because Boasberg is a Democrat operative. It's hard to know. It's hard to know these things, whether Boasberg was being controlled and told to do this or whether he just recognized that Kleinsmith was a scapegoat. Because Kleinsmith is a scapegoat, folks. The people who are really guilty of serious violations of our democracy, violating our democracy, doing all kinds of criminal, horrible stuff, it's not Kleinsmith, all right? It's the people that told Kleinsmith what to do. It's, the names of most of the people in the FBI that were, acting criminally. But I think there's a lot of people in the FBI that we don't even know their names, that have been acting criminally, that went after Trump, that are in the deep state, that still haven't been exposed. I think these people need to be investigated. I don't know how we do that. What I would have liked to have seen is for Trump's Justice Department to have created some kind of new organization to oversee the FBI. That would have been great. What they got was flippin', what's that guy's name? Who's the guy that did the investigation into the FBI? You don't know. John Durham. So John Durham was supposed to go in and do all of that research. But here's a big question for you guys. Where the hell is John Durham? Where the hell is the John Durham report? Where is the Durham report? Where is the Durham report? Where the hell is that report? What is even going on with that?
I don't know.
They've investigated nothing. They found nothing. We've heard nothing. Nobody's been arrested. Nobody's even been nothing. There's been nothing. We've got no report. We've got nothing. This is much worse than Watergate. This is the worst scandal ever in American politics. They spied on Donald Trump's political campaign before he became president, and then after he was president as well, from what I understand. The FBI was spying on a U.S. president and his presidential campaign in order to help the opposition, in order to help the Democrats. This is completely undermining democracy. The FBI was undermining democracy, and who is being held to account for it? No one. John Durham has just disappeared. Unbelievable. Unbelievable. Okay. News over. Valeria, would you like to read the comments and the questions?
Yes.
Okay, let's do it.
1 second, please.
Frank James wrote, he
nope,
just wanted to get away from the questions. I don't know what the hell that means. Okay, moving on.
First one from Rightful King of the Polls. The Kavanaugh thing is even weirder than you say. She uses her psychiatrist's notes as evidence, but the note said there were 3 attackers.
Oh, is that true? Okay.
Apparently.
And I think that originally she said she didn't remember who did it or something like that. And then later on she said, oh, yeah, no, it was Brett Kavanaugh for sure.
Toxic Masculinity. Weekdays, 9 p.m. Eastern, 6 p.m. Pacific.